How many men do you think do this shit? Maybe you're one of them. I've done that in the past. I've done the first one in the past. Hey guys, welcome to another podcast of The Elite Game for Elite Men. So I asked ChatGPT the following question. I asked him, listen, if I wanted to ruin my marriage over time, what would I need to do? And here's what he answered. I called him he. I got to find him a name, actually. What's a good name for my ChatGPT? I got to think about this. But interesting, the answers that I got when I typed that question. What do I need to do over time? Because I can do something right now that probably would end my marriage. Of course I could. Like those type of situations we can come up with pretty quick, right? Like I can lose all our money. I can cheat on her. I can commit a crime. I don't know. But what do I have to do over time so one day my wife comes to me after 5, 10, 15, 20 years and says, I am done. So, number one, neglect communication. Do you communicate with your wife? There's two parts of this. One is, do you talk to your wife? That's like the most basic of basic. Like, do you talk? Do you ask questions? Do you hear what she's saying? Do you comment? Does she ask you questions? Do you guys conversate? Do you talk? But then there's the question is, do you communicate? Like, do you understand what she's saying to you? Does she understand what you're saying to her? Like, does she get it? Do you get it? And communication, it's all about energy, brother, right? Communication's not just words. It's the words and the touch and the body language and the tonality. And everything put together is what you have in your eyes, is the energy that is transferred back and forth. Communication. Do you communicate with your wife? That's question number one. Number two, I prioritize work, friends, and everything else above time with her. This is a real good one. How many men do you think do this shit? Maybe you're one of them. I've done that in the past. I've done the first one in the past. I've done this in the past for sure. I rarely do this now. And one thing that I implement weekly in my marriage is a date. We go out on a date. I know it's so complicated. It's so hard to do. It's not hard to do. You put it on the calendar and then you carve time so you can schedule and plan it and then you fucking go. That's it. That's it. Good one, huh? That's number two. We're going to number three. What's number three? Be critical and controlling. Be critical and controlling. I got to say, this is usually what a guy gets, right? Mostly than what he gives to the wife. This is more like a wife thing. But are you the type of man that controls everything that the wife does and says and goes? Maybe you are. Like, how do you think she feels about that shit, dude? Like, really? Do you think she's going to put up to this 2025? Maybe she put up with it 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, but not today. So it's going to come a time where, shit's going to blow up. Good question, right? Do you control what your wife says, does, where she goes? Or there's trust. Let's keep going. Number 4, stop expressing gratitude and appreciation. Like, dude, if there's one thing that women, that the wife needs, is to feel appreciated. right? If you don't know this, man, if you don't know this right now, this is 101. They need to feel appreciated, that you appreciate them. And it's not just words that you tell them, but you have to make them feel by what you tell her, by how you act, by how you act around her or when she's around, when she's not around. Like things that you can do in order to show that you appreciate her. This is fucking huge, man. If you don't have that in your marriage, that's serious. That's serious. Let's keep going. Ignore their needs. Ooh. Damn. Ignore their needs. You as a man, did you ever ignore your wife's needs? The need to talk to you? The need for your time? The need for you to hold space in a conversation or in any type of situation that allows her to be herself and to say what she wants to say and to expose herself. This is huge also, man. Like this list, let me tell you, as I'm reading this list, I'm like thinking in my mind and analyzing in my own relationship the shit that I need to do and need to work on. All right, next. Be dishonest or hide things. Basically lying, right? For me, this is number one. Number one. And this is the foundation of the elite game, is the foundation of how I play this life, is the foundation of it all. Is how much truth do you have in your life? Like how much truth do you have inside you? Have you washed all your sins? Have you worked out all your bullshit? And then in your marriage, are there any lies? Are there any hidden truths? Because this is something that men like to do. They like to play this fucking game with words. Like hiding the truth is not the same as lying. Ha 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 ha. You're scared. When you say something like that, you're absolutely terrified to tell the truth, because if you do, you might lose what's the most important thing that you have in your life right now. Like that's the truth. That's the reality of it. So the being dishonest in a marriage is the foundation of everything that is wrong. And if you want to ever have the type of relationship where there's two beings connected and on fire and there's nothing in between them, then there cannot be any lies at all. Period. End of story. Now, what lies do you have in your marriage? What truth have you not told your wife that you know that you need to tell her? Because sooner or later, it will come out, man. It always does. Next. Stop growing together. Dude, this is big too. Like, I have my plans as a man. I have my goals. I have where I want to go. Then over here, I have plans with my business. I know where I want to go. I want to grow here. Like, as a couple, are there mutual plans? Is there a plan for you and the wife to grow as a couple together and as a family? I don't know if you ever thought about that. Because if you embark in this journey of creating a plan, just the two of you, to reach together, dude, it creates excitement. It creates accountability. It creates a deeper relationship because both of you are playing on the same team to go to this destination. You know what I mean? Dude, this list is great. So go to your ChatGPT and type that. Type that and see what it says. and look at it and analyze it and ask yourself the question, am I doing these things in my marriage? Because if you are, chances are it's not going to work, bro. And nothing is perfect. We're all a work in progress. Of course we are. And you can't control what she does and what she says. Like, everybody has to control their own shit. But we can show up the best that we can. Like, we can have everything in life. And in a man's world, his marriage is top priority, man, because that will break you or that will launch you into the stars, right? So what are you doing right now in your marriage that if you keep doing, eventually down the road, not tomorrow or the next day, but in 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years, shit's going to blow up? It's a good question to ask, isn't it? Catch you soon.